You don't have a job, and you only graduated from middle school, he said coldly. I'm done with this. I'm not going to let an old woman like you keep using me. Pack up your things and get out. I've put up with you long enough, so be grateful. In other words, you want divorce, don't you? His voice rose with indignation. Don't come crawling back to me. You should understand what I mean. If you need me to spell it out, let me be clear, you're just not smart enough to get it. He turned to leave, a look of contempt on his face. Are you planning to divorce me and marry my sister instead? He added, his tone sharp. She stared at him in shock. Her name was Jane. She lived with her husband Tim, who was 5 years younger than her. Jane's younger sister, who had gone to college with Tim, was the reason Jane had met her husband. Jane and Tim had 2 children, both of whom were now grown and had families of their own. As Jane reflected on her life, she thought about the past and the challenges she had faced. Despite having 2 children she was proud of, her marriage with Tim was far from fulfilling. He often mocked her for her educational background, frequently reminding her of her lack of a high school diploma. His constant criticism was a painful reminder of her past struggles. Jane had hoped to continue her education after middle school, but financial difficulties had prevented her from doing so. At the time, the internet was not widespread and opportunities seemed limited. Following her parents' wishes, she took a job to support the family while her younger sister went on to college, a goal Jane had worked hard to make possible for her. Her sister excelled academically and attended an elite university where Tim was also a student. Tim took pride in his educational achievements, often using them as a weapon in their arguments. When they first met, he had never shown any disdain for her background, but as their marriage progressed, his attitude changed. At first, Jane felt immense joy when they married and had their first daughter, but that happiness gradually faded. It was common at that time for people to leave their jobs after marriage, and Jane's sacrifices seemed to be overshadowed by the growing distance between her and Tim. I had planned to quit my job to focus on our child, but my husband was adamant that I continue working full-time while also managing the house and raising our child. When our first son was born, he quit his job, expecting me to take on all the household chores and childcare responsibilities. I had hoped that with him at home, I could become a housewife and concentrate on our home duties. However, he did nothing to help. I was left juggling housework and childcare alone with no support from him. I thought at least if he wasn't contributing at home, he could at least bring in some income. The thought of raising 2 children on my own was overwhelming, and financial worries were mounting. 6 months after he quit his job, I suggested it was time for him to find work. Hey, it's time for you to get a job, I said. His response was dismissive. Who do you think you're talking to? You're the only one here. It's been 6 months. Are you going to stay unemployed? You think you can just tell me what to do? Oh, not again, he scoffed. Unlike you, who only graduated from junior high school, I'm someone greater. I'm sure you'll get your final goal soon. If I want a job, I'll get one, and you don't get to dictate what job I should take. I'm capable of choosing my own path, he continued, his tone condescending. Well, then pick a job, I challenged. I can't, he admitted. There's no job I want to do. Despite his prestigious university degree and academic prowess, he was utterly incapable of earning a living. His degree, while impressive, seemed to be nothing more than a decoration if he wasn't going to use it to contribute to our family. Then at least do something for the family, I pleaded. He was infuriatingly dismissive. What kind of idiot do you take me for? It's ridiculous to expect me to do that. It's you who gave birth to the children, so you should be grateful. I've stayed in this marriage for years due to the circumstances of our time. Back then, divorce carried a heavy stigma. In our generation, people would stab you in the back if you divorced. And it wasn't just the mother who faced backlash. The children became targets for unwanted rumors as well. I never wanted that for them. But now, with my children grown up, I feel it's finally time to cut ties with him. As I approach retirement, the idea of a divorce feels like a fresh start. Just thinking about it makes my future seem brighter. I've been studying for my high school equivalency exam in my spare time. With the kids out of the house, I've had more time to focus on my studies, and I'm proud to say that I've passed the exam. I hadn't shared this news with my husband. I know he would just make fun of me. Recently, I received an acceptance letter. My sister called me to check in. Hey, how's it going? I'm on my way over. You're home, right? Yes, I'm home, I replied. Okay, I'm at the station. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. Before I could respond, she hung up. True to her word, she arrived 10 minutes later. What's wrong? How's your husband? She asked. We're divorced, I said simply. What? When? It was about 6 months ago. I didn't realize I hadn't mentioned it. I said, by the way, do you have an extra room in your house? No, we don't, she replied. Yes, you do. The kids are all grown up. Yes, but we keep their rooms available in case they want to visit, she explained. The guest room is empty though. Well, I'll stay in the guest room then. Okay, I'll start living here from today. Wait a minute, isn't that a bit sudden? No, it's not. I've already got your permission, she said. That's right, I added. I told her to come over if she needed help. At that moment, my husband walked in from the convenience store. Why did you decide this without discussing it with me? He asked, looking puzzled. It's strange, I said. Your sister is in trouble. You should help her. You know, this is why people with only a middle school education can be so clueless, he retorted. Judy's always been like this. Even though I can't stand her sometimes, she's still family. It makes me bitter, but I can't deny that. After that, Judy moved in with us. I was the only one working in the household while Judy and Tim did nothing all day. If you're going to stay at someone's place, you should at least contribute. Why isn't Tim doing anything or contributing? I asked. Oh, Jen, Judy said dismissively. You must have had a hard time after graduating from middle school. You're just obsessed with money. I was shocked when I saw Judy and Tim starting to go out together. What troubled me the most was their behavior toward each other. They acted as if they were lovers. I couldn't believe they were oblivious to how it looked. But it seemed that they were, or worse, they simply didn't care. I knew I needed to get to the bottom of this. It wouldn't be surprising if they were in a relationship, given their lack of common sense. I hired an investigator, and a week later, the results confirmed my suspicions. They were indeed having an affair. When I shared this news with my children, they supported my decision to get a divorce. With their backing, I felt a sense of resolve and no longer had any regrets. I decided to wait for the right moment to proceed with the divorce. During their absence, I began working toward a law degree. It all started when I was a janitor at a law firm. One day, an employee shared that he had passed the bar exam at the age of 69. I was deeply inspired by his determination and thought that if someone in their 70s could achieve such a feat, I could challenge myself too. As I approached retirement, I came home to find Tim and Judy with peculiar smiles on their faces. I need to talk to you, I said. What's up? Tim asked. You retired today, right? Judy said. That means you're unemployed now. How are you planning to support yourself? You don't have a job and only have a middle school education. I'm done with you, he said coldly. I'm not going to let an old woman like you drain me any longer. Just pack up your things and get out. I've been married to you for a long time, so be grateful. In other words, you want a divorce, I said, trying to stay calm. He responded with a high-pitched voice. Don't come begging me back. You know what I mean. Should I spell it out for you? You're just not smart enough to understand. Are you planning to divorce me and marry Judy? I asked. They exchanged surprised looks and started laughing again. You figured it out, then. Let's make this quick. I don't need you anymore. If you really don't want to leave, I might consider it if you get down on your knees. That won't be necessary, I replied, keeping my composure. I plan to divorce you when I retire, so this timing works perfectly for me. I pulled the divorce papers out of my bag. The two of them stared in shock, their mouths agape. Please, let's get this over with. I'm leaving, I said. How come you prepared the divorce papers? Tim asked, baffled. Because I've been thinking about getting a divorce, I explained. If I'm going to do it, now seems like the right time. I changed into my clothes one last time and said, hurry up. Let's get this done. Isn't it great that Jen is going through with this? Tim said, signing the papers hastily. Okay, that's everything, I said, and I checked his signature without hesitation. I could tell he didn't like my attitude. He continued to hurl insults, swearing at me. You're just a middle school graduate. You'll be dead soon, you know. I shrugged off his comments. I don't know about that. Please, both of you, I said, calling my children into the living room. Hold on to these papers so he doesn't tear them up. Got it, they said. You guys are really gross. You're the worst father ever, I told him. Graduating from a prestigious university might be an honor to you, but it hasn't done anything for your life. You're proud of your degree as if it's just a decoration. You've been employed your whole life, but that's really foolish, don't you think? What? He snapped. My daughter chimed in. You're really a dumb, unemployed old jerk. Okay, kids, that's enough. You're too honest, I said with a smile. I have proof of your affair, I continued. You'll pay for this. With that, I gathered my children and left the house. They had no money to offer, though they should have paid me a substantial sum for all the trouble they caused. It turned out they had borrowed money from a dangerous lender, which explains their financial predicament. I filed for divorce and became free. I could now focus on my studies. I worked part-time as a cleaner while studying diligently. My hard work paid off. I was accepted into the law school of my choice. After 4 years of intense study, I graduated and passed the bar exam, finally becoming the lawyer I had always wanted to be. My children, accompanied by their families, threw a small celebration for me. My life felt wonderful and fulfilling. However, I soon learned that my ex-husband and Judy were searching for me. How did I know? My ex showed up at my new home, asking for help. I heard my ex-husband crying outside, "Your sister Judy doesn't work at all. We have no money." I went to the kids. Of course they won't see me. What do you expect? You're just an idiot. You thought you'd be something great with your college degree, but all you have is a name. You've got nothing to show for it. Don't be stupid, I said. You're just trying to get on my good side. You're only a middle school graduate, and you're not even close to my level. Actually, I added, I just passed the bar exam. But anyway, if I fail, I'll be at the same level as him. Now you're asking for money from someone you used to mock. It's hilarious. Why do you live in such a nice place? He asked. I do because of my job, I replied. You work? He was puzzled. Yes, I do. I used to be a janitor at a law firm, I explained. Are you a private cleaner? He asked. Yeah, I said. I clean my own desk. What are you talking about? He stammered. I opened the door and showed him my lawyer badge. His expression froze. If you don't stop bothering me, you'll find yourself in court, I warned him. Then I closed the door firmly. After that, my ex-husband never bothered me again. Judy tried once, but I told her the same thing, and she never came back. Both of them, with their only qualification being their education, will likely continue to fall apart without any real effort. They seem destined to stay on their downward path. If you don't give up, anything is possible. Hard work pays off, and I'm glad my children fully support me. I hope I have a fulfilling life. Thank you for watching to the end. Please subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.